I think my most common Google search of all time is what should I eat the night before a big date or a big event or just something that I want to look really good for. And unfortunately, I feel like I've never really gotten a very clear-cut answer. Like I remember one year I was researching this and I came across one of those listicle type websites that was like, oh, eat broccoli and cauliflower and other cruciferous veggies. And then coming across another listicle type website that was like, absolutely avoid cauliflower and broccoli. It's gonna make you bloated and you're gonna look bad. Like all I would get were either not clear answers or just very conflicting bits of advice. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and I did so much research on food and nutrition and just became like a low-key hobbyist expert, if you will. And if you've ever wondered the same thing, lucky for you, I have all of the answers for you. Now, I've crafted this episode, this full menu here, and every single ingredient is hand chosen to really help you look your best and feel your best for whatever it is that you're going into. It's such a fun episode. It's actually some of my favorite recipes, including that noodle bowl that I keep posting on Instagram in my stories, that I actually put up a poll and 100% of you want to see the recipe for that noodle bowl. So we're gonna make that, but first we're gonna make a unicorn latte, which I'm so excited for. And then I'm gonna show you this little digestion prep hack. It's like a little amuse-bouche, if you will. And then we're gonna finish with our noodle bowl. So let's get into it, yeah? God, is there a way to do like a decaf espresso? Because I'm gonna die. You know what's gonna happen. It's gonna grind too much and then it's gonna tell me to trim it. I'm just gonna trim it. I'm not gonna fight with it today. It only does this when I do the cold espresso thing. It doesn't do it like otherwise. Okay, so the first thing we're making is this unicorn latte. Now, I haven't made this exact version of this latte before. I've done variations on it before, but this exact version is something I've been daydreaming about. I've been fantasizing about. Like I quite literally have not been able to stop thinking about for months. And I knew I wanted to try it here with you on camera. So I've been saving it for this very special episode because it does have a lot of great health benefits. Basically, it's gonna be a cherry iced coffee type situation, and if it works exactly as I'm hoping it'll work, then it's gonna have these beautiful layers with unicorn adjacent kind of colors, and I'm gonna go over all the health benefits. So basically I pulled a cold shot of espresso. It took a few years off my life because you know what, this espresso machine, love it, beautiful, amazing, no complaints except for one. When you pull a cold shot of espresso, it always, we've talked about this before, I know, I'm so sorry, but like it grinds too much and then it wants me to trim it and I just like don't understand why, but it only happens when it's a cold shot of espresso, not with a regular shot of espresso. That's fine, no big deal. Now this right here is just blended cherries, that's it. That's all this is. I did start with frozen cherries because they already have the pits removed. So like, I didn't really feel like sitting around removing pits by myself. So that's all that this is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by, I'm like nervous about this. Yeah, we're gonna start by putting some of this cherry puree in the bottom. It's nice and chunky, which is exactly what you want in your drinks. Word to the wise, blended a little bit more than I did. And then I'm pouring my shot of espresso in there too. The next thing that's gonna go in there is the ice and then coconut water, but we're not gonna do all that quite yet because I guess I'll make the foam first, and I'm just grabbing my notes so I can tell you all of the benefits. So basically cherries, just like rich in antioxidants, plus they're in season right now and they're just delicious. Like that's truly the only point of them being there, is just that they're yummy. And I thought that a cherry, there's something about a cherry iced coffee that has like a cherry cola kind of vibe to me. And as someone who's never liked cherry cola naturally, it's something I had to try. Makes total sense, right? Espresso. So the reason the espresso's in here, by the way, the rest of the menu, I should say, is something that I would say should, whatever, eat the day before a big event, and there's so much fiber and it's gonna help really clear you out. But I wouldn't necessarily eat it like right before a big event because there's so much fiber that like you're gonna feel distended for a minute before you like fully eliminate by the next morning. You see where I'm going? Whereas this you should totally have the day of a big event where you want to look really, really snatched because you're gonna poo your brains out, quite frankly. Can you tell I'm trying to curse less? I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Anyway, by the way, should I get into why? No, it really has nothing to do with, like, it has nothing to do with other people's reception. Like, it's a very deeply personal thing. Maybe we'll get into it later. I don't know. I want to get through this. So we're going to add a bunch of coconut water to it. And the reason we're doing that is because coconut water, for me at least, is like one of the best things in the world for elimination. Like, I can't put into words how quickly it makes me poo. And then on top of that, coconut water is extremely rich in potassium, which counteracts the like sodium puffiness that we tend to get. So it's just like, it's great for fluid balance. Like if you ever feel kind of puffy, like potassium is your friend. And then we're gonna top it with 2 types of cold foam. So we're gonna use this Eden Foods soy milk for the foam, as we always do. And we're gonna do ube powder, and we're gonna do blue spirulina. And my hope is that they layer beautifully. Again, I haven't made this exact version of this before, but I truly think this is gonna be the best iced coffee ever. Now, I will say, the best iced coffee I've had in my life thus far was that Pandan Ube iced coffee that I had in the Banh Mi episode. Hands down, best iced coffee of my entire life. We'll see if this can top it. I have very high hopes. We will see though. And another reason we're doing this actually is because my niece is turning 5 and her birthday party is unicorn themed. So shout out, hey Niecy. She has a name, we're just not saying it. Anyway, the ube and the spirulina both are extremely high in antioxidants also, but spirulina is truly one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. And actually, fun fact, spirulina has a higher protein to calorie ratio than I think any other food on the planet. I think it's around like 70% or something. Like no animal protein even comes close to competing with the the protein density of spirulina. Now, one important caveat is like, how much protein are you really getting? Like if you were trying to get all your protein needs met from spirulina, you'd be eating tubs and tubs and tubs. It wouldn't work, is what I'm saying. But it is like a nice little boost. Okay, I think that's all the things. And then the soy milk is just like, it's so rich in protein. It's really good for your skin. It's good for satiety. Satiety is gonna be a big theme in this episode. Oh, and with the caffeine, something that I feel like isn't talked about enough is caffeine is actually the single most researched fitness supplement, if you will, or fitness nutrient in the world. Like the benefits of caffeine, I think are sometimes overshadowed because we talk about like the harms of caffeine and stuff. But one of the very notable things about caffeine is that it boosts fat oxidation, which means like fat oxidation is your body breaking down fat for energy versus breaking down carbs for energy, which is what it usually does. So caffeine makes your body do that more. And actually, fun fact, you know what, should I start like frothing some of this shit instead of just chit-chatting all day long? Wait, I'm also really scared of getting all these extremely pigmented things all over my clothes. So why don't I put the powders in first and then pour the milk on top and get frothing. Also, like, why am I talking so much without getting this drink going? Like, I'm thirsty. Okay, so when I was a senior in college, I took a nutrition class. I was basically done with all my requirements for my majors and minors and stuff. Also, like all the things that I needed for, I mean, the colors in this episode are insane. And also all the things that I needed for just like general requirements for graduation, yada, yada, yada. But I had to take one more class in order to be a full-time student. So I was like, let me just take something I would enjoy, which is novel that it took until my last year of college for me to think of taking a class that I would just enjoy. So I took nutrition. Best decision of my life. Of course, like worst decision of my life arguably is not taking it freshman year, because I would have for sure majored in it. Like I was obsessed with it. And let me just say one thing. My professor from that class, like that was like 16 years ago. Every single thing that he said in that class that he taught us continues to be true today, including that there's a wild amount of misinformation in the nutrition space. Anyway, so we talked a lot about caffeine and fat oxidation. I remember raising my hand. I was like, wait. So are you saying like if you drink coffee, like you basically lose fat? And he's like, kind of, but one important caveat with caffeine is that your body adapts to it quite rapidly. So do keep that in mind. But it does just like push you to go a little bit harder. Like I've noticed such a tremendous difference ever since I've been I used to be like completely caffeine free for so long, like literally my entire 20s. Up until last year, I didn't drink caffeine. My entire 20s and most of my 30s, I was completely caffeine free. And obviously it's not like I was like on caffeine as a little kid either. There were only a few years of my life where I'd like sporadically have caffeine, basically. Can you tell I'm stalling because I'm scared this is gonna get all over me? It's fine though. I do love this top. It's my first time wearing it. Like this is the most Hiva coated top ever. Can you actually tell that I tried to make everything like the most Hiva coated thing ever? Like to me, this is my perfect everything. It's my perfect meal. It's my perfect decor. It's my perfect outfit. It's so far everything's perfect. So I just really can't wait for it to go to shit. Wait, are you that type of person when like things go well, you think the other shoe's gonna drop? Or are you the type of person who's just like secure that everything's good? Because I'm definitely the former, but I would love to be the latter. So if you have any tips, please do share. Okay, I'm just gonna blend this and then I'll get back to whatever bullshit I was talking about, yeah? This is looking so pretty. Okay, I'm not even gonna rinse this off because I don't mind if I get a little blue in here. Okay, I'm gonna go grab ice. I made like really beautiful ice. Oh yes, it came out. Oh, look at that. Perfect round balls. I mean, cool. This is going great. I should have popped it out into the container first. I'm actually not a big ice girly, but man, I used to be. Do you want to know how old I am? I'm so old that when I was in college, our on-campus coffee shop didn't serve iced coffee. Like it was like an unheard of concept. Now I also went to college in a small town. I do think that that's a factor, but like, excuse me. And it's not even that I really wanted iced coffee. I just have this thing where I burn myself quite easily. I feel like my threshold for hot things is different than the average. Is that an interesting story? No, I'm so sorry for wasting your time with that. Also, maybe I should have like frothed after all this. Oh, look at those cherry chunks. Oh, and I didn't leave nearly enough room for all the foam I made. Okay, purple's doing great. Let's see how the blue does. Oh, hell yeah. Except I just like didn't leave enough room for it. So I feel like from the side, you probably can't even see the blue on top. Whatever. Okay, I'm also gonna use my favorite straw. Yes. Oof, beautiful ombre. Okay, moment of truth. It's delicious. I'm gonna add more blue on top. I want to keep adding more of the blue on top so we get like more of it, because I feel like we don't have enough of it. Okay, first of all, beautiful. Second of all, it's delicious. Third of all, I'll be honest, the pandan was better. The pandan was better. You know what it is? The cherries are tart and espresso is already tart, whereas like pandan is sweeter, so it counteracts it better. But it is really good. It is really, really good. But remember with the pandan iced coffee, like I couldn't stop drinking it. This is pretty though. It's really pretty. I mean, just the layers of the colors in this though. It's nice. Okay, let's start working on our noodle bowl. Okay, we're gonna start by prepping our proteins for the noodle bowl. Also, I'm gonna say something kind of unhinged. I kind of like the chunky cherries in this. It just like gives you something to nibble on. Delicious. Okay, so when I make this noodle bowl, I always eat it with seitan, and the way that I prepare my seitan is I microwave it with tomatoes, and the tomato juices kind of like saturated and steam it. I did put the seitan into a food processor to get it to kind of like a mince texture rather than, you've seen the seitan that I use. I always say it looks like fish willies, like that's truly what it looks like. So I just thought this would be a little more aesthetically pleasing. Now, if you are an anti-microwave person, can't relate, but good for you. I've been there in the past. You don't have to do it in the microwave. By all means, do it on the stove. I am just lazy, so I'm gonna do it in the microwave. Also, it's 8,000 degrees and I'm trying to avoid having the stove or anything on as much as humanly possible. Also, part of why I do this is it cooks the tomatoes, which not only brings out more of their natural sweetness, but I'm sure you know this. If you don't, tomatoes have lycopene, which is a type of antioxidant, and it is potentiated with heat. So like, you know, a lot of raw vegans and stuff talk about like, oh, the nutrients of raw things, all well and good, but certain nutrients come out more with heat, and lycopene is one of them. That's not to say you should never eat a raw tomato. I like to eat tomatoes in every form humanly conceivable, including cooked. So again, you can do this on the stove, just like stew it a little bit, but I'm doing it in the microwave because I'm lazy and it works and it's good. So I'll put that in for like 5 minutes, maybe, I don't know, maybe 4. I'll start with 4 and see what happens. And then the other protein that we're doing is we're gonna make a little peanut tempeh. And this I'm really excited about. I've tried it a few times. Basically, hold on, let me grab my tempeh. So, you know, I like the 365 brand of tempeh. I just think it's the only tempeh I've had that like truly is not bitter. So what I like to do is, a lot of black on here. Let me just make sure it's not expired. August 27th, we're good. It's never bitter. It's insane. You just saw me eat it right out the package. What other tempeh can do that? Okay, so I'm just crumbing it up with my hands. I feel like I have enough shit in my teeth. Anytime I eat tempeh, tofu, anything like that, I get so much stuck in my teeth. Okay, so we're just crumbing this up, and then I'm gonna add, this is peanut powder. That's it. And then I do saute it lightly, and I just add this on top, and it almost looks like you have peanuts on top, but instead of peanuts, you have this insanely nutrient dense, like a complete protein. Plus tempeh is, I guess it's fermented, right? That is the right word. It is fermented, but it's with, it's a spore-based fermentation rather than a bacteria-based fermentation. So there's that side of it. It's just so nutrient dense, and you get a little peanutty flavor from the peanut powder, and you get a little crisp because we're gonna saute it. but it's way lighter and way higher in protein. And also something, let's just like take a moment to address real quick here, is if you really wanted to look like the most snatched that you could in 24 hours or in a few days or something, we all know you could just literally not eat, right? That used to be my approach when I wanted to look really good for like a date or something. I'd be like, I'm just not gonna eat. But here's the thing, you could do that. I'm not taking that away from you, but guess what? You're gonna be depleted, you're not gonna have fun, you're gonna be in a bad mood, you're gonna be irritable, you're gonna be drained. And quite frankly, I say this a lot because it's worth repeating. What's the point of being hot if you're not gonna be happy, right? How does that relate to this? I actually genuinely can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. So this is a meal that I like to make. Honestly, it's a meal that I just make on repeat constantly because I like it so much. But it's also great because it's gonna give you all of the nutrients that you need to like truly feel good and be in a good mood, while also being light enough that like you don't feel weighed down or like feel bloated and sluggish and gross. And because of the noodles and all the fiber, it's actually, oof, you can really smell the tomatoes. Yeah, that's good. I'm just gonna let that sit in the microwave for now. Because of all the fiber, it's kind of like a bit of an intestinal shower. So the next day you get like so snatched. Just make sure to hydrate really, really well. Okay, my hands are nice and gross. Fun for me. Okay, that's quite a bit of peanut powder. It's fine. Okay, I'm gonna rinse my hands and then let's saute these and then we'll do other stuff for our noodle bowl, I think. Okay, so we're just gonna start by, why is this kind of like sticky and dirty? It's a little concerning. I love how I don't clean it. I'm just like, oh, that's sticky. That's not normal. By the way, the other day, I was already having a really bad day. I was in like some of the worst pain I've ever been in. My last cycle was the worst cycle I've ever had. I'm like on my first day of my period now, and I've never been more grateful to start bleeding. Can you hear me over the sounds of this flame? Jesus. I'll turn it down a little. Also, I shouldn't have poured it in yet. I should have waited for it to be hot, but whatever. So after like hours of like writhing around. I mean, it was like the girl in The Exorcist. Like I was like flailing around, like they're trying to get the demon out of me, you know? I literally was trying to get the demon out of me. Finally, I like get my shit together. I go to hot Pilates. And when I get out, I have a text from the woman who works at the gallery below me. And she's like, hey, there's a gas leak in your apartment. And like very alarmist. So I start freaking out because, as you know, I have a lot of fears around gas and fire and stuff. It wasn't in my apartment, it was next door, the guy who raves all the time. All good now, but I really did have like a 3-hour-long panic attack being like, oh, God. Anyway. Oh, also, did you know that peanuts are rich in magnesium, which is also good for elimination and debloating and stuff like that, but excellent for mood and anxiety. I mean, one of the first things that helped me when I was in a really severe depression was magnesium. I remember it was like the first time I took magnesium glycinate. I think I threw up first. I didn't take it with food and it just like instantly made me throw up. But then within an hour, I felt a sense of like calm and mental clarity that I hadn't had in years. It's like suddenly the crazy went away and I could see clearly. Also, I'm wondering if I should just move this to the stove in the back and like move on with our lives, or if I should stay here and do this. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, but my big thing is like, it's really loud. Whatever, I guess we're doing it like this. Now, you know what, while we do this, I could talk about sauces. Why don't I go get them, yeah? Well, there's just one sauce actually, I don't know why I said it like that. Now, I change up the sauces with which I make this noodle bowl. I often do use that peanut sauce from, we've used it in more than one episode, I know that much. We used it in the Thai bowl episode, I know that, but I feel like we used it before that too. Protein episode, that's what it was, right? Yeah. I love that peanut sauce. It's so good. In fact, I have some in the fridge right now. Like it's one of my favorite sauces. I usually have it on hand. I often just like walk around and dip tofu into it like it's crudité. Like it's so good. It's so good with cucumbers. It's some of my best work, I would say. But I made a different sauce for this episode. I've been really into it lately. It's a gochujang aioli. I'm gonna go get it and I'll tell you what's in it. Ooh, this is burning. It's really just the peanut powder that's burning. I'm not stressed about it. Okay, this is it, by the way. 1 package of the Morinu silken tofu, 1 clove of garlic, 3 tablespoons gochujang, 6 pitted medjool dates, 1/4 cup rice vinegar, 1/4 cup tamari, and 1 tablespoon peanut butter. Peanut and gochujang pair beautifully. Tomatoes also. All right, I'm gonna turn this off. And honestly, with the tempeh, I would just prep a big batch and store it in the fridge, and you can just top any foods with it. It's like a little crunchy, a little crispy. You can add oil. I didn't today for no particular reason. You can also obviously roast it. I'm just trying to avoid turning the oven off to the extent trying to avoid turning the oven on to the extent humanly possible these days because it's hot. It's hot. So good. Okay, first of all, I just would like to issue a quick apology. If you can hear the washing machine go, it's because Sam peed everywhere. So there's just a lot in the wash and I guess it's rattling around quite loudly. Okay, so for the noodles, I like to add some veggies, but not like tons and tons. I do like to really let the noodles kind of shine too. But so we have the cooked tomatoes with the seitan in there. I do like to do cabbage in 2 ways. Number 1, I have like red cabbage that I pick, well, not pickle. Do you remember from the, am I okay? Have I lost my mind? Remember the meal prep episodes? I did this in the meal prep episodes and I just, every time I run low or start to run out, I just make more. So it is just red cabbage that I've sliced and then I added vinegar, that's it. That's literally it. Like I didn't cook it, blanch it, do anything with it. And then this is just cabbage that I'm thinly slicing that's gonna go in the bottom of our bowl. And then I do always add cilantro, usually scallions and some seaweed flakes on top for more nutrients. All of these veggies obviously have a lot of fiber and stuff like that, but the other thing that's really important is with cabbage specifically, so many prebiotics. Cilantro is actually really good for, they say, like heavy metal detox, but it's also really anti-inflammatory. And then scallions, great for prebiotics. Also just the flavors work really nicely together. Okay, I think this is like way more cabbage than I need, but that's fine. I'm not even gonna chop up the cilantro. Actually, maybe I will chop up a bit of cilantro, but I do sometimes like to use those herb shears. Oof, the cilantro smells really good. I got a fresh batch of cilantro today. Beautiful cilantro, wow. Now let's do the noodles. We're gonna toss them with sauce. Okay, so I'm using 2 types of noodles, but I can't emphasize this enough. Use whatever noodles you like. And if you're someone who's like sensitive to gluten, 2 that I can really emphatically recommend. 1 is buckwheat noodles, like buckwheat soba, like that kind of vibe. Buckwheat is not wheat, it's actually a seed, it's not even a grain, and it's so good for gut health. Like it's actually one of the best things for gut health. And another type of noodle that's really, really good, actually maybe my favorite kind of noodle, is Korean glass noodles. They're made out of sweet potato starch. Again, no grains in there. the stickiness of the texture, oh, it's one of my favorite things. But I'm using a combination of these shirataki noodles and then these tofu noodles that also have konjac in them. These are made out of konjac entirely. And the reason I'm doing this is a few different reasons. Number one, like, I'll be real with you, they're low in calories. And to me, it's like calories are a bit like money in the bank, right? You have to really get clear on where you want to spend your money. I want to spend my money on things that bring me more joy than noodles do. Like, noodles are not like my thing that's like my non-negotiable thing, if that makes sense. Whereas something like bread, like if I'm gonna eat bread, I'm gonna eat like a nice piece of sourdough. Like, get the fuck away from me with your stupid gluten-free, whatever, cardboardy kind of bullshit. No, I want real good bread. Whereas with noodles, like, if I can't even think of a time, but like there probably have been times where I've really craved like a really good noodle, and in which case I would never eat these because they're not gonna satisfy that craving. Whereas for day to day, these to me feel like it's like the shape and the eating experience of eating noodles, they give that to me. Plus, what I really love about konjac, we've talked about this before, is they have this type of fiber called, I think it's pronounced glucomannan. I'm not entirely sure, but it's really being researched right now for gut health. It seems to be a really powerful prebiotic fiber that seems to be really good for gut. And it's also really, really good for blood sugar control. But the other thing I really like about these is that they have both soluble and insoluble fiber. And I find that the insoluble fiber has a like intestinal broom kind of effect for me. Like, I might feel bloated, right? Or not bloated, but like really full, like slightly distended right after eating them. But then like I drink lots of water and coconut water and stuff like that the next day, like, not to be gross, but best poo of my life. And then I feel phenomenal. So that's why I like these. Now these have lots of, the macros on these is insane. This package has 100 calories with 11 grams of protein and 3 grams of fiber. That's crazy. Okay. And if you want to look and feel your best, I cannot say enough about increasing your fiber, both increasing your protein and increasing your fiber. Okay, I'm gonna go rinse these, then we're gonna toss them with sauce. I love so much that every single element of this episode is so pigmented and I'm in all white. Oh, I wish you could smell how good this gochujang aioli smells. Like, truly life-changing. We're just gonna toss these. And one thing that I hate for aesthetic purposes is that these noodles are different thicknesses, but I will say for a mouthfeel experience, lovely, life-changing. Oh, I love that sound. Okay, just a bit more. I love if I say a bit more and then I add like half a cup. It's so good though, and it's so light. Like, there's just this magic with using silken tofu to make creamy sauces. It adds so much protein and it can replace so much of the fat. Not to say that fat is bad. Wait, speaking of fat, something else that we're gonna add to our noodles that I completely forgot about is avocado. And I don't always do this, but the reason I like to is because it actually is so important for satiety. Like, I used to be kind of not like scared of avocados, but I'd certainly avoid them a little because I'm like, oh, it's fat, it's so many calories, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, like, not only do you need fats to like be able to survive as a human being, but on top of that, it's gonna change your beautiful avocado. Look at that. Am I okay? I think we all know the answer to that question. See, like, for aesthetic purposes though, like, I want the pit. If I'm gonna keep an avocado half like this, I want the pit showing, if that makes sense. But yeah, so not only is fat like so important for your brain and your hormones and like literally everything else, but on top of that, it changes your experience of satiety so much. Like eating an ultra low fat diet, you're gonna feel a lot hungrier all the time than you would if you just like incorporated some fats into your diet. And I will go out on a limb as saying I think avocados are the perfect fat source. They come with the types of fats are great, but also avocados have a lot of fiber. Like I don't know if people realize avocados really do have a lot of fiber, and they have a ton of potassium, which as we covered earlier, is really great for counteracting sodium puffiness. So you heard it here first, add some avocados to your food. Okay, I think we have all our veggies and stuff together. Before we plate and eat our noodles, I just have to show you one of my favorite digestion hacks. I just take a bit of radicchio, cut it, sometimes into quarters, whatever. And then I grab some balsamic vinegar. I really like this balsamic vinegar. I got it from this shop in Bentonville, Arkansas, which is so random. It's a really nice balsamic. It's like very like thick and almost syrupy. It's the 25-star aged balsamic. They do ship products. I was there for a wedding. I don't just like hang out in Arkansas, no offense. I was there for a wedding, went to this shop and really fell in love with it. Okay, so the reason that I do this is because radicchio is bitter, and bitter foods stimulate bile flow and basically get your whole digestive system ready. I actually heard this a while ago from a company that makes digestive bitters, and basically what they said is that humans evolved to eat bitter foods, and the bitter foods is what primes digestion. But as time has gone on, we've all but eliminated bitters from our diet, and that's part of why we struggle with digestion as much as we do. So I just like to do this as a little pre-meal. And honestly, with the balsamic together, I don't know if I'm counteracting the bitter element of it, but whatever. I figure you get so many antioxidants and other nutrients from it regardless. And it's like, it's kind of enjoyable and it's a little bit chic. Okay, so literally all I do, here, I grab a bit, I dip it in, and I eat it. That's it. It's just like a fun little amuse-bouche situation, you know? Get your digestion ready. Okay, now let's do our noodles. Okay, we're gonna start with some of this cabbage in the bottom because it's not very pretty, so it doesn't need prime billing, you know. Pretty privilege also applies to food, apparently. Then we're gonna add some noodles. Some of our seitan and tomatoes. Our avocado that is hopefully beautiful. No, whatever. We're gonna cover it with stuff, it's fine. Lots and lots and lots of this pickled cabbage, because this is beautiful. And I just love like a tart flavor. Okay, you can't even see the noodles anymore, honestly. Some cilantro. A little bit of our crispy peanut tempeh. And then I'm gonna add some seaweed flakes on top. I just think these taste really, really good. And they're pretty, and they just add so many minerals, and seaweed is so good for thyroid and metabolism support. Oh, I love that smell. And then I have a little bit of soy salt. It's just like crystallized soy sauce. It's so good. And lastly, I have a bit of bok choy flowers we can just sprinkle on top. Okay, obviously I have to take a photo. Okay, whatever, I just want to eat this. Oh, I just wish you could smell how good this smells. It's hard to put into words how excited I am to eat this. You know what I forgot? I usually add chili crisp to this, but like whatever. I don't even think it needs it, but it is so much better with chili crisp. By the way, chili crisp was something I used to be afraid of because I was like, oh my God, there's like, it's like all in oil, like blah, blah. But then I found just adding a tiny bit makes everything taste so much better, which like the experience of eating food matters, you know? That bite with the avocado and the soy salt and everything together in the stewed tomato. Like, I could die right now and I'd be happy. That's how good that was. I was gonna say, I didn't even get my clothes dirty, but that's not true. I just saw I did stain my shorts. Oh wow, whatever. Yeah, I have stuff all over my teeth. Don't even care. This is the perfect meal. Make it, add a little chili crisp. But honestly, it's so good whether you add it or not. There you have it. You finally have the noodle bowl recipe that I've been eating on repeat. It's so good. It was so fun hanging out with you here today. If you enjoyed this episode, make some of the recipes. Definitely make that gochujang aioli. Like, it's so easy. It's so good. You can eat it on everything. I had so much fun. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye. Am I okay? Like, no, I've had way too much caffeine today, okay? I'm gonna have to take, like, what do they give to elephants when they put them in an MRI machine? Whatever that is, that's what I'm gonna need tonight. Okay, love you, bye. I think my most... Oof, my noodles look so good.